Hey guys, Sandy here, and today I am doing my Kill a Kit with Style, which is Christmas in July, and I am also doing Follow a Sketch Friday. I am going to use this Page Maps sketch from December 2017. I thought it was appropriate. I was scrapbooking December 2017 photos, so I grabbed that page map. Okay, let's see what I can do. Well, the first thing you're going to notice is that I'm more using this as following the guideline of the Sketch Friday rather than following the actual sketch. I did not want to have teeny little grid squares on this layout. I decided that I wanted to do big ones. So I went ahead and cut out some 4x4 squares. I had actually already had a 4x4 square in that diagonal paper, so that's probably why I went that way. But I was just like, okay, now I have these. What is going to be my fourth square? Like what color am I going to use? What am I going to bring into this? And it took me a little minute to figure it out. But I went to my kit and I had this little 6x6 paper that had already been cut into, and I just decided to use that. Even though I didn't get a full 4x4 square out of it, as you can see there's a little notch there, and I'm just going to go ahead and cover up that little notch, so you will never know flipping through my albums unless you've watched this video. And if you flip through my albums after you've watched this video and you say, hey, I remember when you had that little notch out of this square and you covered it up, you get a gold star, because I bet I won't even remember that when I flip through these albums in the upcoming years. Okay, so I just am using this Fiskars ruler, and it's just a stainless steel ruler. It has that great cork background on the back of it. And I'm just getting these squares even. So there it is. Now I'm not worried too much about these squares being in the exact center of the layout. It was more of a, I just wanted them to be straight kind of thing. So I have this photo, and there are the kids asleep, and my son's on the sofa, and the girls are on the big bean bag. Well, it's not a bean bag. What is that brand called? It's filled with foam. It's not filled with, oh, Love Sack. They're on that, and they're just, you know, kind of wiped out. The Christmas season does it to you, man. I mean, it wipes you out. So I know that my photo is going there, and I did pop it up on some foam just to give it a little bit of dimension off the page. And I know I want to use this December 25th die cut, and I'm going to emboss it. Now, I love embossing, and ever since I discovered Brutus Monroe embossing powders and this little mini Ranger glue pad, emboss pad, whatever it's called, I have really just enjoyed embossing a whole lot more. It truly makes a difference with the quality of your embossing powders. Now, I don't have any clear Brutus Monroe embossing powder yet. That is definitely going to change. I joined their embossing powder of the month club. I actually so I discovered Brutus Monroe and became a total fangirl. Like, I enjoyed the embossing powder, or enrolled in the embossing powder of the month club, the stamp of the month club, and the inspiration box. And I'm kind of validating that because I let my Citrus Twist subscription go, and I am really loving stamping lately, and I just want to learn all the stamping things and do all the stamping things. It's so much fun. So anyway, what I've done here is just used some clear embossing powder, and this is the cheap kind. It's from Recollections. There it is, but I have a lot of it, so I need to use it up, and it's not like terrible. The clear stuff is not terrible. And then I'm just using a little Swiffer because for some reason I put my heat tool over the embossing powder and it kind of blew everywhere. Luckily, it didn't melt everywhere. It just, you know, blew that embossing powder loosely around. So now I have that, and There we go. So much embossing powder everywhere. I do make a mess. Like, I make a total mess. If I had my dream room, so I constantly plan my dream room in my head, like my dream scrappy space, my dream crafty space. And I've now added an embossing station to that dream. So there you go. So now that die cut, that December 25th die cut, has a beautiful shimmer, or not a shimmer, a shine to it, because it has that clear embossing. And I was just looking at my phone. It was either to reference the sketch, or maybe I got a text or something. I'm not exactly sure. It was probably referencing the sketch. And at this point I was like, wow, I've already like changed so much that I should just go with what I'm thinking. So I do that. I added this Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, and I added this particular sticker. I popped it up as well, but I added this particular sticker because December 25th is in that black and red kind of plaid, and I wanted to bring the plaid in another place. Now I decided to add this die cut, which is just a 2x2 square. It's the month of December. It's just a generic month. I have no idea what year this would match up with, guys. So if you were that inclined to look that up and know, like, more power to you, but I just didn't. It didn't make a, like, it wasn't a big deal to me. I wanted to bring in these basic gray wood veneer shapes. They're like wood with black paint. And I really liked that bird and thought that it looked great against that white and green paper up there, but it just didn't fit exactly right. So I decided to bring in the Christmas tree and use it to basically decorate up the title, because the title is not quite December 25th. So there we go. And now I'm just checking it out, making sure that it's going to be where I want it to. I'm not covering up anything on the photo that is too important. Like, it's just a little expanse of carpet right there. Nothing important. Nothing important at all. So then I used these gold tile stickers, and I think they're from a Maggie Holmes collection. I'm pretty sure. And I always say that gold goes great at Christmas, so I'm just plopping some on a page. And that is how I made that decision. I just looked over, saw the gold ones in my letter stickers, and pulled them out. Wasn't a whole lot of thought. Wasn't a whole lot of thought at all. Okay, so there we go. The Christmas tree is stuck down. I added a little heart in front of the word not, just because I felt like it needed a little bit of extra right there. Then I have this ho 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 sticker, and like, I was committed to putting it down, and then I decided not to. And I'm like, no. So that doesn't make it onto the page. Sorry, guys. I like the little gold ho ho ho, but it just didn't make it onto the page. And you're thinking about bringing some other kinds of plaid in, because I do have the plaid already on the layout, but no, we're not going to do that. And I've got to use that reindeer head. I've got to. So I'm looking through the stickers. I'm trying to figure out what can I do, because it needs a little bit of something. Now, like, looking at this, I could have probably not put on the December calendar or this little cluster that I'm creating up here, and just had the photo over top of these 4 papers, and I would have been fine with it. Like, I'm looking at this layout going, yeah, that would have been like a really simple basic layout, but I totally would have been good. But instead, I decide to create a cluster up here, and I do that with this tag. And then, of course, I'm going to put some twine through that tag. So I use this black and white baker's twine, and I don't know, this is like some cheap twine that I got. I guess cheap twine makes me on. Some cheap twine, probably at Michael's or something like that. And I'm just going to go ahead and stick it down there. And I use a little bit of ATG adhesive kind of bunched up into a ball. And that is because I've put away, well, not really put away, but I've packed my glue dots that I normally use. And I could not be bothered to get up out of my chair and walk across the room to the drawer where I have the rest of the glue dots stored. So, you know, necessity is the mother of invention. And then I decided to use my Tombow Mono, and that worked out great because I was able to kind of glue down the little tail ends of the bow as well. All right, so now I've got that cluster done. Just adding a little bit of glue again where things are popping up because, you know, you don't want things to pop up. And I'm still trying to get that ho 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 there, and I even flipped it around and thought about doing oh, not quite December 25th, but no, that didn't work. So I'm going through my Spectrum Noir and Wink of Stella pens. I keep them in their own little cup because the sparkly pens make me happy. And I have to, I probably should have cut that part out. I had to prime it. Oh, yeah. I had to prime it because it was a new one. So I took the collar off and then it kind of like globbed out on me. And I was like, ugh, forget it. And then I said, you know what? I'm just going to glitter this whole thing because it really did glob out on me and it was not what I really wanted. I wanted to glitter each of the ornaments just to give them a little bit of pop, but it didn't work that way. So the glitter kind of went all over the place, and I just decided to add more and then use my heat gun a little bit to dry it so it wouldn't be ridiculously wet, and there we go. So now that little square has glitter, and you really can't see it on the camera, but in real life you can see like the little shimmer and shine. So I grabbed some close to my heart pearls, and these are self-adhesive pearls, and I just decided to cluster 3 in varying sizes on each kind of cluster, even though that calendar really isn't a cluster as such because it is literally the calendar and the pearls. I'm still going that way. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more. Talk to you soon.